Shalom and good day all, this is the Helium29 back again for another DC comic review, and this time this is going to be covering the first half of the month of the Batman and Superman, which came out in this April. So starting off, first things first, let's get to the rating of Batman issue 107. Both of these stories both have backstories, to which I'll only be doing the backstory to one of them, which will be Superman, which I actually enjoyed over the backstory over Batman. So, time to get to it. Now, starting off with the cover. Does this cover in any way, shape or form help show what is developing within the story? Surprisingly, it is. And I was really impressed with how this cover also worked with what was happening within the story. To which I gave this cover a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to turn to the internal art, which we'll have a look at the beginning, middle and end of this story. Alright, starting off with the art around the beginning. I'll now move to the middle. As you can see, this is some of the art around the middle. I was actually quite impressed with this, and also the consistency, but also changes made when they were needed. Now to move to the end. I must admit, I really enjoyed the consistency here, but also some of the looks of the characters as well, including Scarecrow. And this is where I gave the art a rating of 7 out of 10. So, what of the story? As you know, I like to look for certain things within my storytelling. Starting off, locations. Do we get locations? In fact, this book loved locations. I really enjoyed it, as it also built up on the story, to which Batman was doing things that Batman likes to do, and it's also nice to see him doing detective work. So, in the locations, where we are, of course, Healy in Gotham, we went to the Electric Town, the Clock Tower, to which Batman saw Oracle, and I really liked what happened there. Midtown, and of course, where you saw the end, the area of the Narrows. In regards to the cast, we saw Batman, Simon Saint, Scarecrow, Oracle, Renee Montoya, who also tried to capture him at one stage. But those who don't know, Batman could probably easily reveal Montoya's secret identity as one of the questions. My goodness. Did we get any indication of when this took time? We did get it more so in the appearance of the art, but not necessarily pointed out, like, when exactly it was happening time-wise. No, it probably wouldn't hurt the story. Like, if Tinian is writing this story, and he's doing Batman doing detective work at night, or even throughout the day, pointed out when it is happening throughout that time period. Like, he could even include a date if you really wanted to. And that would have also given a bit of a higher story rating. Did we get any comic references? No, we didn't, which I'm afraid to say is slightly disappointing. So for the story racing, I gave it 6.5 out of 10. Time to move on to Superman, issue 30 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Now, starting off with first things first, for issue 30, does this cover in any way help shape what is happening within the story? In minor part, it is, but not overall, especially for the first story that's in this book, to which I gave it a 6 out of 10. But it did also make up in the area of the art for the story, to which I will now move into the beginning, middle and end to show you. This is some art around the beginning, and I'll point it out once I reach the story part that there is something I enjoy here. It is good to see John getting along with his family in the artwork, and I really enjoyed that. And this is just for the beginning. Now to move to the middle. This is the art around the middle. And now finally to move on to the end. And this is around the end. I think one thing that really worked with this artwork is that we had sort of like a light beginning and it started to move middle into a grey, and as we reach the end of the story we start to see that there's a darkness forming. To which I gave the art in this first story 7 out of 10. Now for the story racing itself. We of course had the cast of characters dealing with Superman, John and Lois. We end up meeting someone by the name of Koraf, who is from Fakron, or Fakron, with spelt with a TH, not a F. And I found that very interesting. As you start to learn some of the things that are actually starting to happen on this planet where Superman and John have gone to. To which I gave this up, and there was one more character that I forgot to add, and that was called Feldon, which is connected to this picture and one of the villains that we are encountering on this planet. Now, did it have time and any comic references in this? Not at all. It probably wouldn't have hurt to, say, cover the time. As for the comic references, it could easily be passed. To which I gave this story a 6 out of 10. Now to move on to the second story in connection to this. And this has to do with Ambush Bug. Starting off with the art for the second story. Here we go. Meet Ambush Bug, and he's in Metropolis. And yes, he's friends with Jimmy Olsen, as you can see. We also get an appearance of... We also get the appearance of Gangbuster, who also appears in this. Alright, moving to the art around the middle for this story. The art around the middle. I think the art in this was actually pretty fair as to how it was done and was also brought across. Then finally the end. Now moving into the art racing for the second story, I gave it 6 out of 10. For the story itself, to which we got to experience Ambush Bug, who ends up having an experience of his own. And it feels like he's telling a story to Jimmy Olsen of something that happened to him, to where he actually comes from, I think, planet-wise. I'd have to look more into the character because I am new to the character's appearance, even though the character has probably been around longer than what I know. That's neither here or there. It feels like he gets taken captive and he has to sort of like find his way out of the captive situation in the process of also helping fellow bugs from his own species. To which I gave this story a 6 out of 10. The location we got was mainly Metropolis. It probably wouldn't have hurt to include the location to where Ambush Bug went to in this story. It felt like it was missing. Like, really missing. No indication of time, but I'm not too worried about that. It might not hurt if the writer, say, did cover, say, maybe one comic reference, even if it's like to first appearance of Ambush Bug. Especially if the reader, whether it's myself or someone else, might be interested in going out, picking up more comics around this character, or trade paperbacks. Well, until then, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And until then, let's keep it colourful.